Hello, welcome to my podcast. Today I'll be talking about South Park. I'll be talking about Joseph Campbell. And I'll be talking about Kanye West. Those are all related somehow. What the fuck is up? Oh my god. That's gonna be annoying, huh? The swamp cooler. Let's go turn that off. Because I'm thinking about you, the people, if you're watching this. If you haven't, shut it off already. See, I just put the idea of shutting it off in your head, so whatever. Okay, I don't know what's in focus. This is a one-man show, okay? This is a one-man band right now. I love South Park so much. My first experience with South Park, I was probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10. And of course there's like all this publicity saying like, don't let your kids watch South Park. And I grew up in Utah, in Provo, Utah, which is like 90% Mormon, if not more. But this huge population of Mormons, and it was like this thing that like South Park was the worst thing, and that's the thing you shouldn't watch. And we had cable, so you don't know about shit when you're a kid until you're like people say not to do it. So I started watching South Park, and it was the best. Like, I mean, it's the funniest show. Like, I love The Simpsons for sure, but South Park like captivated me so much. And I watched I've been watching South Park for a long time, like since it started, because it was like I probably maybe season 2, but I think I saw like Cartman gets an anal probe and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to remember exactly when, but at least since like season 2 I've been watching it. And I haven't seen the last, oh fuck, I was going to watch the last 4 episodes for this episode, but whatever. I haven't watched the last like 4 episodes because Donald Trump getting elected is just too depressing. And they all like, I think, are about that. And because, I don't know, I guess I saw the one where the guy finds out he gets elected, and then the guy comes out, he's like, what's going on? And he's like, he got elected, like, Donald Trump's our president. And he's like, what? And then he's like, and just shoots himself in the head. Which is funny. Oh, anyway, so I should watch those, but I don't want to get sad. I don't want to think about that right now. Which is why I didn't watch those episodes. It was just so depressing, but I need to just watch them. I just keep forgetting to. So I'm a young kid in Provo, and there's only one narrative in Provo, and that's like, Dear Heavenly Father, I know this church is true. And that's like every month at church, and we were Mormons too, like every month at church people give their testimony. It's called the testimony meeting, and it's just everyone talking about how much they love God. Like, I love God the most. Like, I love God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Like, they're my dogs more than anyone. And then the next person comes up and they're like, but he's my dog. God is my dog. And that's sort of how it goes. And then someone else comes up and is like, God's my dog. And I remember this is kind of off topic, but like, so you go on your mission when you're Mormon when you're 19 to when you're like 21. That's like when you're supposed to go, when you're 19. And this one time this woman talked about her son coming home early, and she was like pleading to the congregation for empathy, that he came home early and to not judge him. And you could tell it wasn't like a preemptive thing. It was like she's been having a really hard time. It's very cool. Like, I mean, it's all works well if you're following all the rules, but let's say, like this lady, you could just see so much pain in the way she was talking. I just remember that, thinking about those testimony meetings, just her like pleading for empathy, that people, oh, we're so much better than her because we would stayed the whole 2 years, and it's so nuts, man. It's really crazy. Like, Mormonism's pretty crazy. Like, you have to go to the temple, like, and to go to the temple you have to give 10% of your money to the church, but like, you could be beating your wife and still go to the temple, but if you don't give your 10%, then you can't go. Flat out. And that right there shows you what kind of priorities are in that religion. And I'm not trying to dog on it all the way, because there's a lot of things that I like about growing up Mormon, and a lot of things that I've taken from it. And I think Mormons are good people overall, like the ones that I know, of course. But, you know, it's just like fucking Blue Velvet, man. It's like, there's an underline, you know, it's all pretty, and there's this fucking cut off ear just hanging out in the grass, you know, white picket fences, fire truck driving by just to wave, beautiful lawns, and then there's a fucking ear in the lawn, and that's kind of how it is. And that ear is like, you know, like there's more prescription drugs prescribed in Utah than anywhere else, and there's like a higher pornography rate in Utah than anywhere else. And so it really shows, like, you know, just the kind of facade and the depression that comes from trying to keep up a facade, and you have to go and like to church every week and just like put on these smiles and be like we're better, we're the best, look how together we are, look how everything, you know, look how, you know. And there's not just that. I mean, there's like nice and beautiful aspects and communal aspects of like people getting together, but I mean, I want to go to a religion that we just like don't believe in anything, and like we're not rude to other people who don't come to our church. Like, I don't, you know, I mean, I think there's benefits to all that, to like gatherings and things like that, and talking about really big subjects. You know, I think that's, I mean, I'm not talking about my podcast, but I think that's one of the reasons why people like podcasts. It's sort of like sermons that you would get in church, but kind of more tailored to maybe things you would like, that isn't just about Jesus, you know. I mean, there's interesting things, like that's a great story that you can have great lessons from, the story of Jesus. But if, you know, it becomes, you know, it's like the symbol's a metaphor, and this is going to go to like talking about Joseph Campbell, but the symbol's a metaphor, and the second like you take the symbol and it becomes something concrete, like you really lose what the metaphor is about. And I mean, it's not about just competing with other people and trying to like be more holy, and, you know, like thinking about like Buddhists meditating, like it was like looking over at the neighbor and being like, no, I meditate way more than them, or whatever. I mean, that's not, I don't know. I mean, what am I talking about? I don't know. That's a bad thing, to exclude people because they don't exactly follow the rules, and that we just dealt with that a lot, and it sort of gives you a life lesson. It's sort of something I've been thinking about recently, and this is related to South Park in the sense that my family, we watched South Park, we watched rated R movies. We didn't, even when I was younger, like it wasn't that big of a deal, you know, and not like super bad movies or whatever, but even back then there weren't that many super bad movies. I mean, we watched like just Demolition Man and things like that, you know, and Terminator 2, and just got to see some nice, tasteful breasts, which was nice. I mean, that's always great to think about. RoboCop, I mean, I think I've talked about RoboCop. I know I have. Those RoboCop titties, I think, were the first pair of breasts I ever saw. It was when I was a kid, you know what I mean. But one time this guy, and just this idea that like we were like people like weren't allowed to come over because like we had movies and stuff like that were bad. because Mormons aren't allowed to watch rated R movies, stuff like that, whatever. Oh, okay. So one time my friend's dad came over, and he like broke up. I was in this group of friends, like just the only kids, like the kids that are our age, like the kids in Boy Scouts, the kids in Mormonism. You go to school like on Sundays too, so it's like you go up and you're like, this is your group. And the dad came over and said like, he broke up with my friend group for me. And it was like such a painful experience, and I remember just crying while he was just like saying all this really like mean stuff. And it's such an interesting image to me when I think about that. I was like, I would never like talk to I had to have been like 12 years old, maybe maybe younger, but I would never just like talk to a 12-year-old that way. It was just really interesting. But it was really, I think, more than anything, just about that I was just a bad influence because of these things like South Park and watching these things. I never thought they were a big deal. And so people would kind of come over to watch rated R movies sometimes. And so it makes sense in a way, whatever, but it made me realize, like, I don't know. That was an important moment because I've never really been a part of I have in a way, but never really, like, I guess I've been guarded about groups and getting involved with, like, a group of people. Because you can just get, like, ostracized and be like, square one, like, I had to make all new friends. And, we eventually, all those people eventually, like, came back around, and we kind of became sort of friends. It never was the same. I guess I'll go into this real fast. That's what this podcast is about, I guess, these silly stories, but these goofy stories. But, so he breaks up with me. I had to have been 12. He breaks up with me for the friend group. And because I listen to Blink-182, and they have songs like Shit, Piss, Fuck, Cunt, Cocksucker, Motherfucker, that song. Turd Fart, whatever that song is. And that's funny to me, and I think that, I liked that growing up. I liked all that kind of stuff, and like South Park, that stuff that's just dirty and filthy and swears, and that doesn't mean you're stealing I did do that, but that was later. In junior high, I stole a couple things. I stole a lit CD. We'll get to that. Fuck, that's so embarrassing. But I just always liked swears, and that I love swears. Swears are the best. So fucking I got broken up with because of sort of those reasonings, that I was into that kind of stuff. So then it's like I have no friends, and the one guy that was my friend, I was like, I don't want to be your friend. So I fucking ostracized this one guy. Ostracized this. I don't even know if that's how you say the word. This one guy, because we doorbell ditched and he ratted me out, and I got really mad at him, and I was like, don't ever talk to me again, which is so embarrassing. And we really didn't talk for like 4 or 5 years, and now he's again one of my best friends, which is just embarrassing as fuck. And I said that, I was like, dude, well, there was just a point where it was embarrassing that I even said that, and like, but we became friends in senior year of high school. So we weren't friends, me and one of my best friends, really, weren't friends for like 3 or 4 years because he told the people who I doorbell ditched on that I was there, which is so funny. And it was so mean that we just doorbell ditched these people. It was so mean, we doorbell ditched these people all the freaking time. It was just really mean. So whatever, but that's a really embarrassing story. Like Tony Soprano, like, I don't ever want to talk to you again, you ratted me up. We're great friends now. He's so awesome. But so with those two, that shit happening, I didn't have any friends, and then I just I started running with the rough crowd. No, I did not at all. I started hanging out with rich kids in junior high that like used me for entertainment instead of like, it wasn't cool. Like later on, I kind of realized what was going on. But whatever. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal. It wasn't like as bad as I'm making it sound, like, but it wasn't like a super sincere relationship, but it was a really like weird thing, and I think it goes to like people's confidence and things like that. Like I remember when the guy invited me to like, and it was a big deal to get invited to this birthday. Oh, this is really sounds so stupid, but it was a big deal to get invited to this like birthday party, and I got invited, and I was like, really? And that was just because I was goofy and like would make people laugh and stuff, I think. And I kind of just started hanging out with these rich kids, and it really was so interesting to just like be around really rich people, and I just had so much money. You know, it's really crazy. You're just like, wow, you have so much money, like so much money. And it was kind of an interesting thing, you know. It was a very kind of shallow part of my life, but at the same time, me and this kid Carson, like I think him and I were like actually good friends. He was kind of chubby too, and we were kind of like the chubby kids. And one time he said, "Oh yeah, that's right." One time he like invited me over to a jacuzzi party. He's like, "Dude, I don't want to be the only fat guy. Come on." And so we went to this jacuzzi party, and anyways, we went to his jacuzzi, but he invited me over, and that's what he said, and it was kind of funny. But I think him and I were friends, and I remember a cool thing, or an interesting, like there's got to be reasons you remember certain things, and I remember like talking about how I had all these different sides of me, and he's like, but you should just be yourself. It sounds really stupid, but I don't know, he just said something like that, where I was like, yeah, sometimes I want to be a tough guy, and sometimes I want to be a blah blah. It's just really stupid junior high shit. And he's like, you should just be yourself, or something like that. And that was a cool thing. So I think him and I were friends, but we all had a falling out because oh my god, I ratted out someone. Oh, how the tables turn. I ratted out. I stole a camera in junior high, going back to like kind of hanging out with these rough kids. They're not really, but this wasn't the rich guy group. He was the guy that was kind of involved in there, and we started hanging out. And thank God I got in trouble, because that would have just been awful if I started like hanging out with those guys, because that guy really was trouble. And that sounds so stupid. But it's true, he was just bad news. He was not a good guy. He was a bad seed, like he just was. And so one time we stole a camera, and this teacher saw us as we were leaving, and the cop like got me into detention, and was like, all right, well, if you took the camera, would you tell me? I'm like, why would I tell you if I took the camera? And that was the moment he knew that I took the camera, he said. And later on, I did confess, because they just like kept me in detention for like a week or whatever. I don't know. And I just was like, yeah, here it is. And so they went over to the guy's house. They found the camera. They returned it. And I guess we had made some video where I was like, yeah, fuck the principal. I don't know what I said. I don't think I said fuck the principal, but it was like me and the guy just going like, yeah, bitches, honeys, hoes, get nothing from me, man. I don't know what that meant, nothing. It just meant joking. I said stupid shit in junior high. I'm sure I was like, yeah, I would want to fuck Mrs. Hodge. Yo, I want to put my Hodge in Mrs. Hodge. You know what I'm saying? Whatever kind of shit I was up to in junior high, but I didn't want to fuck Mrs. Hodge, so I'm sure I said something about that. And I think we could have fucked. If it was a different time, if it was a little bit later, it would have happened. I probably should have worked out more in junior high, if I would have known. If only I had known. They say women aren't as shallow as men, but that's like saying throw up tastes better than shit. I'm sure it does, but they're not. It's a low bar. It's a low bar for taste. It's a low bar for being shallow. But I said all this stuff on this video, and they got the camera back, and then the guy, he was kind of involved with that group, so it was kind of a big falling out. And like, you don't talk to the cops, man. and that kind of shit. You know, we were all super into like Dr. Dre and all that kind of stuff. Dr. Dre for sure. All that kind of like gangster rap music, Tupac and stuff. Hit 'em up! It's so funny to think about white suburban kids loving that music. I mean, it is good music, but also trying to be like, yeah, I'm gonna thug out. But monkey see, monkey do, right? You try to just emulate or imitate what you think is cool or what's popular at that time. Anywho, the camera got back. I ratted him out, though. Anywho, the camera got back. That was that. I had a little bit of detention, but I kind of had this thing where I was like, for months and months, it was like this thing where they were like threatening to jump me. And so I just like stopped going to school for like weeks at the end of the school. I was just like, they're going to beat me up. And then Carson called me later and tried to make peace. One of the guys from the group guy's friend whose dad broke up with me, like one of the main guy, the son of that guy, came over and tried to like make peace. But by that time, high school was about to begin. And I don't know, I guess I held grudges against those guys. But, anyway, back to South Park. South Park was awesome. And, like, and also South Park, they have, like, the movie Orgasmo, which is, like, making fun of Mormons, or, like, the guy's a Mormon in it. And now they've made the Book of Mormon, so they're very kind of... And I grew up as a Mormon, so it makes sense why I love South Park so much, because... It's very, like, you grow up with that one narrative, but then there's this thing that happens on Wednesday night at 10:30, and I eventually just started taping them. And I would go to the store and get the old episodes and then re-tape those, so I have them. But then the DVDs came out, and then I bought the DVDs. And then I would watch it on Comedy Central, but something would happen on Wednesdays at 10:30. Every Wednesday at 10:30 or in 11, and then on repeats, this whole new perspective of these really intelligent, funny, amazing guys, musically talented guys, Matt Stone and Trey Parker. So I'm in junior high and just loving the fuck out of South Park, and it's such an escape. It's such an awesome new perspective, and they're talking about things that are way above my head, but as a kid you're watching things a lot and things start to kind of make sense, and I just feel like they're always trying to like see what's wrong about all sides, and that's something that's really influenced me, and I always try to see what's like wrong about myself, which is so hard to do because like your cognitive biases are so strong. And so I mean, I feel like I've figured out so many just from doing this podcast. And so many aspects of my life that I find, or myself, that I think are annoying or need improvement. And that's awesome to have that for me. But the show, South Park, like, is this thing that's just informing me in a way that nothing else is. And even into when I was getting into high school and getting into, like, the news, actually, and Michael Moore books and shit like that, and Michael Moore movies, and like becoming more like liberal and becoming more interested in politics in high school, especially like once, you know, George Bush became president, and sort of like that whole Florida debacle. I was just I just wanted to know about that and all that kind of stuff. And that whole period, again, in South Park is the background, because I've always watched South Park. There's just never a time in my life since I was 12, so for almost 20 years now, that I've been watching South Park. It's just always there. And then the movie came out too when I was in junior high, I'm pretty sure, and the soundtrack came out, and the songs are so fucking good. Up there is so much gloom, so much. Up there is so much room. Well, babies burp and flowers bloom. Everyone dreams, I can dream too. Up there, up where the skies are ocean blue. I could be safe and live without a care. Up there. And it's Satan talking about wanting to be like on Earth. It's like was so fucking amazing and incredible, and it still is. Like I've watched that movie, it's still so funny. And I mean, the show holds up, and they've been making this fucking show for so long, and they're so vigilant and resilient and have such a high standard within themselves that they make such great stuff every single time. And Team America, I remember when I was like 22 when that came out, and going to the theater, and I forgot my fucking wallet, and they were like, you can't buy tickets. I was like, motherfucker, I don't look like I'm fucking 18, man, come on. Like, I'm under 18, let me buy tickets. He's like, no, it's a really dirty movie. And then we saw it, and it really was a dirty movie. It was a dirty, dirty movie. And it was so fun, though. It was the dirtiest, funniest... That was probably one of the funniest times I've ever had in a movie theater. You know, and it's so fun. It's like going to a comedy show, and you see a great comedy in the theaters, which, when the fuck does that happen? Like, a great comedy like Team America. And it's just like going to a comedy show. Like, the more people around you, there's just such an energy when people are laughing. And it's so fucking cool when people are just all laughing and having a good time. And it's just contagious, you know, versus like if I were to just like have watched that on DVD at home, that wouldn't have been the same thing at all. So Team America was just so incredible too. And the fucking music on that is amazing too. The music is so good. I'm trying to think of one of the songs. I mean, of course, like the America Fuck Yeah song, but Pearl Harbor sucks, do, and I miss you, do. That song is so good. I mean, and so, it's really obvious he's an incredible musician, even just like the stuff, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I don't really, I know Trey Parker writes most of the songs, but I'm sure Matt Stone's a great musician too, because I know they're in that band DVDA, which is double vaginal, double anal, which is amazing. But comedy music go like this, like Dave Chappelle says on the Block Party movie. So, God, there was a fucking Black Widow in my fucking bed. I felt something in my arm earlier, and then I fucking masturbated, and like it came everywhere. And I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. There's cum everywhere. And then I felt something again, and I touched it, but I like pinched this thing, and I was like, ugh! And I think I broke its leg or something, because I must have pinched it at the right spot. And then I'm like in bed, and I flip the light on, throw my sheets back, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then I look, and I see a spider, and I kill him. He was like checking me out, but I think his leg was like broken. But he's like, what the fuck are you up to? And I was like, what the fuck are you up to, man? So I killed him. I really lost track of where I was at in the story, but that really freaked me the fuck out, dude. Like, when you see a Black Widow or a really freaking big-ass scary spider like that, and I don't know for sure if it was a Black Widow, but I think it was. I wasn't about to be like, hey, are you a Black Widow? I just crushed the motherfucker. But it was so nasty. And, it was, because it had those fucking kind of legs that were just way huge ass, and then this huge, fuck, in my bed. I hate spiders, but ones that can like make me like, I don't want to go to the fucking, to go see a doctor because of a spider bite. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the fuck was I talking about South Park, right? They're great musicians. They made awesome stuff. It's very apparent because their stuff's just always been good. Like Chef Aid is amazing, and I mean all that stuff. I love South Park too. Now I'm thinking about this episode because this episode is going to transition into the Joseph Campbell episode, Imagination Land. So before I get into that, let's take some water, man. Actually, I did bring water. But South Park, so... Oh, junior high, let's finish that story, I guess. So then junior high school happens, and then I just made all new friends. They're the friends that I still have. And then I made re-friends with the guy that I was mad at for ratting me out to the cops. And seeing that circle of me ratting that other kid out to the cops, the real cops, the other guy, my friend, just said we were doorbell ditching, I think, just to the people who own the house. And I went all fucking Tony Soprano on him. But we're good friends now still. We're like the best buddies. He's a really great guy. He's a great friend. Anyway, so get to high school, make the new friends. Those meet my girlfriend, start a band. You know, blah blah blah. Then it all goes down. But that's sort of the story of that. You know, I meet the guy who I became co-bandmates with Zyreka, which is named after a Flaming Lips album. So I want to reunite that band, but with him, and remake that album. But I want to change the name because I listened to it again on that last episode, and I was like, God, I just want to remake it. But I saw him. I went to Utah and I played a show, and I saw him there. He came down to it, which was awesome. And I was just like, dude, we gotta redo it. He seemed pretty cool about it. So, South Park is amazing and fun, and has always been a part of my life, and it's really helped me to sort of, I think, too, be individualized in a way where I've always been more comfortable, like, again, like not trying to be a part of a group. And I think that combined with being ostracized from that group and sort of seeing, I don't know, I just never, you know, I'm very weary of like in-group, out-group type deals, and that weariness just leads to me being a loner, I guess. So, Imagination Land is an episode of South Park about imagination. I suggest you watch it if you haven't seen it. It's great. But I'm going to just assume if you're watching this, you've probably seen Imagination Land at South Park. So I'm going to have spoilers in a way. But it's really kind of about how, you know, Superman, Harry Potter, these things are real in a different way that you and I, or a camera, or a wall is real. That it's this tangible thing you can touch, but you can touch Superman, and you can make an action figure of him. I don't have one, but like you can touch, like he's real in a way. I think in the episode of Imagination Land, they said, like, you know, like Harry Potter will be around in 100 years, whereas like I won't be, or something like that. You know, they're real, and they're like more real in a way. There's this epic mythological, but they're real, and Zeus is real because we can talk about Zeus. He's just real in a metaphoric way, or real in a different way. And Imagination Land really blew my mind. And around that same time, I feel like I just give all my Joseph Campbell books out. Around that same time, I got into Joseph Campbell, thanks to my girlfriend at the time, handed me this Joseph Campbell book, and she was saying, like, I feel like, and I remember her saying, she's like, you know, Joseph Campbell says that all religions are true, but I just feel like mine's the most true. And I remember thinking, like, I don't know if that's what he meant, but I didn't know. And then I read the, I don't know exactly how, I think I just knew about the book. Maybe I flipped through a few passages or something like that, but it wasn't until a little bit later that I watched The Power of Myth, which is Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers. It's like this 7-hour, 8-hour long video, each highlighting a different part of myth and mythology. You know, because the human story, and the human story is incredible. And Joseph Campbell, I watched The Power of Myth, and it's a really mind-blowing thing. I mean, I can just play a clip from it, and it'll be mind-blowing. Like, that's just the kind of thing that it is. So, I was blown away, and I never really thought of my life or myself that way. And it was after, I know it was after a time I'd been an atheist. So, it was later on that because I became like a really staunch atheist, and sort of getting into Joseph Campbell made me sort of be a little bit more agnostic. And then when I got into magic was when I became very, very agnostic. was still pretty atheistic when I got into Joseph Campbell, but it made me appreciate, I guess what I mean is it made me appreciate the stories like Jesus and my upbringing and the stories of all religions, treating them as metaphor and finding some value in the stories rather than being like, well, that's not true. Well, it's, you know, it's a metaphor, and a metaphor is different, and it's a story, and so it's exciting to be it's exciting to fucking have your mind blown by new information. And Joseph Campbell really did that because he really framed my life in a way, because this whole idea in a way is that everyone is the hero. Like, stories are, the reason we relate to stories is because we identify with the hero of the story, because we are like the heroes of our own lives. As sort of cheesy or as like arrogant as that maybe sounds in a way, but it's more of a framing, of a metaphor, of a way of using language, of a way of like using magic, alchemy through language to formulate the life that you want to live. You know, because he talks about in the stories, and every story there's a call to action. And that's there's a beginning, a middle, and end to all stories. Stories have a reason for being. If someone's just like, Frank farted, and wants you to laugh, you'd be like, whoa, what? He's like, oh, my buddy Frank. He's a little person. He was on my shoulders. We were walking away. We were walking down the alley. This lady came up and said, oh, you got a little person on your shoulders. And he farted. And he said, and I farted. Fuck yourself. And I'll be like, that's a horrible story. And the lady left and was like, oh, that was a mean little guy. But I guess I shouldn't have called him a little person. I should have just left him alone. And then we went to the movies, and he bumped his head because I forgot he was on my shoulders. And he fell back and he died. And then when he died, he farted. And as much as I was sad he was a dead little person and I was responsible in a way, I also felt like he should have warned me. I also feel like his fart was really funny. It was a very dichotomous experience emotionally of trying to figure out whether I should laugh or whether I should cry at the dead little person or laugh at his fart. That's a story. Like, there's not, like, it's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not a great story, but it's a story, and people who don't know how to tell stories, it sucks. You're like, what the wait, hold the fucking phone, man. Like, explain this shit, explain it. What are you saying? This is a skill, this is something, and we're all a part of a story, and Jordan Peterson, who's a guy that got interviewed on Joe Rogan podcast, I listened to their podcast, and he was talking about how a really interesting spin on this is like, the way I always thought about it was that the story, like we have the story embedded in us, and we tell the story, and this is the hero's journey, and this, you know, the same like 5 or 10 stories that are told over and over again. Man versus himself, man versus machine, man versus the world, all, you know, that kind of stuff. Man versus woman, whatever. Man versus the poop shooter. All these things are, like, I thought of them as a way of kind of like embedded in our DNA, but the way kind of Jordan Peterson kind of talks about it is that they were the attributes that we admired, and as we admired them, that kind of contributed to the gene pool and to the you know, to evolution, to natural selection of people being like, oh, these are the attributes we as humans are now admiring, so we're gonna fuck those people. And that became the story, and that became the heroes, and so these stories kind of came out of our choice or our you know, came from millions of years. These are the attributes we chose instead of it just being embedded in us. I mean, I don't know which one's true, but I think that's really interesting way of thinking about it, that the hero and the idea of the idea of someone like Superman, the strong, silent, always does what's right guy, or the Batman, the guy that never gives up, even in the darkness. That's kind of what these metaphors mean. That's why we're so attracted to them. That's why we're so in love with these characters still, and why they are our modern day, I think, our religious figures, and we need to think of them that way. That we need to think about metaphors as things we apply to our lives, and stories as things we apply to our lives, even religious stories like Buddha or Jesus, that we can take from these stories and apply these aspects to our lives. And so the reason Superman is this way is because those were what we saw. You know, the person that was freaking out all the time, like, that's not the guy that we wanted leading the pack or leading the army or leading us to battle or being the one that's there, you know. It was more cool, calm, collected, together, strong people that we admire, you know. And so when you see that these kind of attributes in superheroes, I'm trying to think of a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he's a really great example of the modern day Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord's like a really great example of the modern day version of that, the modern day version of that, you know, because the modern version of the hero, like, because he's goofy, he's funny, he's lighthearted, but he's calm. Again, going back to that. And he's together, and he's got his shit together, and he does what's right, and he fights, and he works, and he is human. I can't totally remember the movie. I haven't seen the second one, but the first one. But just the point of, like, you know, the way he's like listening to music and dancing. You know, he's sort of like the 21st century version. To me, he's like the perfect amalgamation of the 20th century, like, values and things we like and care about. And so, again, it's like we pick those attributes, you know. He's more like I don't know. Like, why do we love? We wouldn't accept. It's not. People are like, oh, comic books give unrealistic body images and things like that. Like, but when you watch these movies, like, we wouldn't accept if Christian Bale, like, wasn't in super good shape playing Batman. Like, we just wouldn't accept that as people. Like, literally, subconsciously, inherently wouldn't accept it. We wouldn't visually accept it. And it's like Eddie Brock. Like, we didn't visually accept that Topher Grace could be Eddie Brock, I think, as, like, people. You know, they're obviously, now it's fucking shit, I can't think of his name. I mean, I know his name, but Tom Hardy. Now it's Tom Hardy. Now, so that's someone you're like, yeah, that's Eddie Brock. I mean, I wish he was, like, the same age as, I mean, Eddie Brock grew up with Peter Parker, so he should be like Tom Holland's age for this universe. But whatever, it's fucking Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy. Hopefully he'll have whatever. Maybe he's his uncle or some shit. That doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe he's like, you know, a mentor, whatever. But we wouldn't visually accept it, and because we're making, like, you're a movie star for a reason. Like, you're super good looking. There's a reason for this shit, and it's not necessarily negative. I mean, I think when I'm not talking about, like, photoshopping people to make them look unrealistic and things like that, which I think is, like, problematic, but I'm just talking about the story. I'm talking about the story of humans, and we admire, like, people being in really good shape. We admire when people are really good at singing, or really good at math, or really good at science, or really good at entrepreneurship. Like, we admire excellence, and the admiration, we admire excellence, and the admiration of it forms these stories and forms what attributes we see and feel are. But it's also just encoded in us. And I was just like realizing, like, you're just talking out of your ass, just to shut up. Play a clip.
Time is dual, past and future, dead and alive, all this being but it's the metaphor through which
and you saw
words. Myth is that field of reference, metaphors referring to what is absolutely transcendent.
what can't be known.
What can't be known.
Or can't be named.
Yes.
Except in our own feeble attempt to clothe it in language.
And the ultimate word in our language for that which is transcendent is God.
Do you remember what went through your mind the first time you saw Michelangelo's creation?
By the time I became aware of that, my notion of divinity was not quite so personal, you know. The idea of God, that he's a bearded old man of some kind with certain not very pleasant temperament. That is, I would say, a sort of materialistic way of talking about the transcendent.
There's just the opposite of it, found on an island in the harbor of Bombay from around the 8th century.
This is a wonderful cave. You enter the cave from a bright sky. Of course, moving into the darkness, your eyes are blanked out. But if you just keep walking slowly, gradually the eyes adjust, and this enormous thing, it's about 19 feet high and 19 feet across. The central head is the mask of eternity. This is the mask of God.
Mask of eternity.
That is the metaphor through which eternity is to be experienced as a radiance.
And these other two figures?
Whenever one moves out of the transcendent, one comes into a field of opposites. These two pairs of opposites come forth as male and female from the two sides. One has eaten of the tree of the knowledge, not only of good and evil, but of male and female, of right and wrong, of this and that, of light and dark. Everything in the field of time is dual, past and future, dead and alive. All this, being and non-being, isn't.
And what's the significance of them being beside the mask of God, the mask of eternity? What is this sculpture saying to us?
The mask represents the middle, and the two represent the two opposites, and they always come in pairs. And put your mind in the middle. Most of us put our minds on the side of the good against what we think of as evil. It was Heraclitus, I think, who said, "For God, all things are good and right and just, but for man, some things are right and others are not." You're in the field of time when you're man. And one of the problems of life is to live in the realization of both terms. That's to say, I know the center, and I know that good and evil are simply temporal apparitions.
Well, are some myths more or less true than others?
They're true in different senses, do you see? Here's a whole mythology based on the insight that transcends duality. Ours is a mythology that's based on the insight of duality. And so our religion tends to be ethical in its accent. Sin and atonement, right and wrong. It started with a sin, you see. In other words, moving out of the mythological zone, the Garden of Paradise, where there is no time, and where men and women don't even know that they're different from each other. The two are just creatures. And God and man are practically the same. He walks.
Dude, Adam was ripped
in the garden where we are. And then they eat the apple, the knowledge of the pairs of opposites. And man and woman then cover their shame. They're different. God and man, they're different. Man and nature is against man. I once heard a wonderful lecture by Daisetsu Suzuki. You remember this wonderful old Zen philosopher who was over here? He was in his 90s. He started a lecture in Switzerland, and I heard in Ascona. He stood up with his hands on his side, and he said, God against man, man against God, man against nature, nature against man, nature against God, God against nature. Very funny religion. Now, in the other mythologies, one puts oneself in accord with the world. If the world is a mixture of good and evil, you do not put yourself in accord with it. You identify with the good and you fight against the evil. And this is a religious system which belongs to the Near East following Zarathustra's time. It's in the biblical tradition all the way in Christianity and Islam as well. This business of not being with nature, and we speak with sort of derogation of the nature religions. You see, with that fall in the garden, nature was regarded as corrupt. There's a myth for you that corrupts the whole world for us. And every spontaneous act is sinful because nature is corrupt and has to be corrected, must not be yielded to. You get a totally different civilization, a totally different way of living, according to your myth as to whether nature is fallen or whether nature is itself a manifestation of divinity, and the spirit being the revelation of the divinity that's inherent in nature.
Don't you think that Americans, modern Americans, have rejected this idea, this Indian idea, this ancient idea of nature as revealing the divinity because it would have kept us from achieving dominance over nature?
Yeah, but that's the biblical condemnation of nature that they inherited from their own religion and brought with.
I think a really great quote by Joseph Campbell. I found one of his books. Buy his books, people. Watch how the power of myth. I mean, it's cool to. It's really. I mean, I was really excited to get into it when I did in my early 20s because it's really kind of set the stage for my whole life in a lot of ways. And I definitely feel like, too, it got me into a lot of more Eastern religion type stuff. I got into, Thich Nhat Hanh books, which are really good books, too. I really love learning about Eastern religion, going back to like that idea of like finding yourself in a chord instead of finding yourself in antagonization. But what I said is that God has oh shit, I'm not going to say this right, am I? God is an intelligent sphere, let's say a sphere known to the mind, not to the senses, whose center is everywhere and circumference nowhere, and the center, Bill, is right where you're sitting, and the other one is right where I'm sitting, and each of us is a manifestation of that mystery. That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, and I mean, that's been awesome, to get into meditation. I mean, it's taken me so long. So I guess I was probably 21 when I got into this. Yeah. Because I think when I got into Joseph Campbell, when I made Mean Old Mr. Moonlight, when I was 21, I had already kind of had the idea of the hero's journey in my head, and I organized my songs and thought of the album as a movie, as like a journey, as something. that was sort of the beginning of that, when where albums are are very themed, or they're, I don't know, I don't really want to put into words or try to put into words what they are, but where the albums became more of a story or more of a hero's journey, I guess, and I started to organize them in a way that had more of a beginning, a middle, and end, whereas like the complete first season and then play their songs, and to a certain degree a sphere needs a square, although I organized it a little bit by that time. They were just sort of thrown, just collections of songs, not works and stories. Stories, that's what they are. I started to make albums that were stories. I don't think they're concept albums, but I think they're stories. Let's read a Joseph Campbell quote from his book. I don't know. This is called The Inner Reaches of Outer Space. I'm not going to be able to just read a quote. But that was pretty cool to just throw that on, and it was about pretty much what we were talking about. The way of the mystic. This is his wife talking. She's talking about dancing. The way of the mystic and the art and the way of the way of the mystic and the way of the artist are related, except that the mystic doesn't have a craft. The craft holds, and this is him talking, the craft holds the artist to the world, whereas the mystic, facing inward, may be carried to such an extreme posture of indifference to the claims of phenomenal life as that of the old yogi with his parasol of grass in the Hindu exemplary tale, The Humbling of Indra. The king god of the tale, left sitting on his throne alone when the two humiliating apparitions had vanished like the figment of a dream, had no longer the slightest desire to go on with the construction of his palace. Unsettled forever in his conceit of himself as the governing power of the universe, he summoned his architect, Vishvikaraman, thanked him for his engineering feats, heaped on him jewels and precious gifts, and after a sumptuous celebration sent him home, desiring nothing but release from the burden of his inconsequential role. And the god entrusted charge of the course of history to his son, and was on the point of retiring to practice yoga in the forest when his beautiful and passionate queen Shachishi returned in construction for comfort and advice to the palace chaplain. This is rough. Brihaspati, the lord of magic wisdom, Indra's spiritual advisor, who, with the wizard's smile, took her hand and led her to her husband's throne. There, bowing before his majesty, the two settled on the floor before him, where Brihaspati, the Lord of Language, commenced a golden discourse on the art of experiencing in the bond of marriage, love, the bliss transcending duality. The king and his queen drank in the golden words, which were as a healing balm to their hearts. Indra, relenting in his extreme resolve, Shashai recovered her radiant joy. And Brihaspati promised to compose for them a handbook of the mystery of marriage, wooing every anew in the knowledge of each as both to the end of time. And so the wonderful story ends of the opening of the eyes of an unknowing, self-loving God to a dimension of being transcendent of himself, smitten by the full blast of the revelation delivered by two divinities of a range of conscious infinitely beyond that required for the component performance of his own limited historical assignment. Bewildered, Indra had been about to desert both his public and his domestic orders of worldly duty for the self-satisfaction of self-delusion in a mystic rapture of self-identification with the infinite, when by great good fortune he was rescued from the Manaya by the wit of his beautiful queen. Vishnu, the preserver, the first of the two divinities to have appeared. Hold on. When by the great good fortune he was rescued from the mania, mania. Oh my God. I'm like just in Indian mode right now. I'm like, what's manaya? Is that manna? Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. When by great good fortune he was rescued from the mania by the wit of his beautiful queen. Women. Men. Wow. Anyways, this is cool. That's cool. I mean, a little bit that I didn't. I can't believe I got mania wrong. That was nuts. That was maniac. That was maniacal. That was maniac. Manna. I love the idea of manna. I believe in manna. I believe in the... I'm like looking up. But it's... I believe in the ideas. Like, I believe in manna. I think... I do. I just think we have manna. Human beings do. And that might be a maniac thing to say. I got asked out on a date. And I'm going on a date in 2 days. She's like, can we get coffee or tea? Actually, I do now. But I was like, that sounds... I want to get chocolate too. I'm going on a date. I'm gonna... I wrote Orthohannes a letter. Or an email, I should say, saying everything I wanted to say to her. Pretty much. And then I can just now open myself up to, I mean, just love other people and give people an actual shot instead of just having one foot out the doorway the whole time. Which is just really uncool to waste people's time. I think the one thing I've realized in 3.5 years of being single or whatever, 3 years, 3 months, someone was like, you're counting up. And I was going to go 4 years, but I think, whatever, this girl asked me out. She wrote me and she came back to my work and gave a note to give to me that asked me out. And I was like, that's really cool. And I wanted to ask her out, but I'm at work. You got to keep it professional. I can't be asking chicks out all the time. There's chicks are coming all the time. Girls would be nice. I don't know. But with her, I remember her. And I remember wanting to, like, keep her around. Be like, lock the doors. No, I just remember wanting to, like, ask her more questions. But being like, I don't have any reason, really. So that she came back, that she felt it, too. I thought it was really cool. So, I'm glad I wrote this I'm glad I wrote this email, and I'm going to text her and be like, hey, I want to come see you. I can say this to you in person. If not, I can just say his email. I mean, I'm not trying to get out of going there, but it's nice to have the email written. I kind of know what I want to say, which is just mostly thank you, I'm sorry, and I want to release some songs that I wrote about you. So is that cool too? Because I gave them to her, but I told her I wasn't going to release them, so I had to ask her if it's okay, because I mean, I either want to fall in love with her again, and be in love with her, or move on, because it's ridiculous to, I don't know. I don't really know what I want out of a relationship, but I don't want to have sex with fucking horrible people, which the last girl that I had sex with was just awful. She was just an awful person. She just was. And it made me, I was in bed with an awful person, and it made me think, well, what the fuck am I then? Well, who the fuck am I if I'm in bed with this awful person who's just a bad, I mean, she has some good attributes, but a lot of horrible attributes. She has really bad attributes. And I just remember thinking, like, well, what does that say about me if I'm the one having sex with her? I'm the one fucking her, then why the fuck... Then what the fuck do I have to say about it? You know, what the fuck? Why the fuck am I in bed with this person that I dislike, that I think is a bad person. So I don't want to do that. And we didn't have sex. Thank God. I left. I ran home. I ran like 7 miles or something home. Through some pretty dark... I just shouldn't have gone there. I mean, nothing bad came of it, but it really showed... I don't know, I should have gone there, because it showed me, like, well, look in the fucking mirror, man. It's like when people are like, all my exes are shitty. It's like, you're shitty. You're fucking shitty then. You're fucking shitty if all your exes are shitty. If you have like 2 exes that are shitty. If you have like 5 exes, you've gone through like 5 relationships and they're the asshole, you're the fucking asshole. You know how to pick them. You know? All my girlfriends have been different. So I feel like I think positive things about them too. I'm like, oh, I just think about the stupid shit I did. I don't really think about anything. I don't even care. I don't even really care about, I dated the girl that, like, we just, whatever. Blood on both sides. We both hurt each other. And there was just, like, parts where it became scary, safety-wise. Or it became scary, like, physically with her. And that wasn't cool. But that never happened again with any of the other girls I dated. They were not like that because they didn't have bipolar disorder. And not that everyone with bipolar disorder... not that everyone with bipolar disorder is violent, but sometimes she would be violent to me. But I'm sure sometimes I would yell at her, too. I mean, again, I'm not trying to say I haven't done shitty things. But I'm going on this date, and I should leave all this baggage behind. And just go on this date with the chick, and if nothing comes of it, then nothing comes of it. But the past is the past, and I'm just so caught up in, like... I'm so caught up in it, I guess. That's what one of my friends said to me once when he was drunk, and he was drunk and he was like asleep like this, and then he popped up and he goes, "Joe Mike, don't get caught up." And I'm okay with not being with this lady. In the sense that you can't force people to do stuff, and I wouldn't want to. She doesn't want to be with me, I don't want to, so that's why I'm just gonna give her my olive branch and be like, hey, I still have feelings for you. If you have feelings for me, let's see what's up. But if not, then I need to, not tell her this, but for me, I need to... There's no way I can write all these songs about love and love not be something that's really important to me, or something that it just became something I'm really afraid of. So I guess taking another chance with the woman that broke my heart is going to at least show me that I'm willing to get hurt again, because that's what you need to do in life sometimes, is fail. And so I'm willing to fail in the same way that I failed before a couple times with her, but this would be... I don't want to be that guy that's like super obsessed with his old girlfriend, and I'm not. Like, I don't look at pictures of her, but she's in my thoughts, and she's in my music, so it's just there. And 6 years is a long time. I mean, that's a long time. I'm 31, so that's a long time. That's like a fifth of my life. And that's a long time to think about someone. And I'm supposed to be talking about Joseph Campbell, but I guess this is my story. Like, I've thought about that. I was like, what do I talk about a lot I'll get to the waist update. What do I talk about a lot on my podcast? And I'm like, well, I talk about girls a lot. And again, it's like I talk about girls a lot, and I sing about girls a lot, and I talk about my weight and stuff like that on here, and that's sort of getting under control, more so than ever, really. So I'm talking about girls now, and I'm thinking about girls, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but the girls are definitely treating me different at grocery stores. I'll just say that. I've been working out for like 7 months or something, and way more so recently. If I would have worked out this hard recently, I'd be way further than I am, but whatever. I'm at where I'm at, and I think it took a while to get to the point where it's like, I want to do it gradually, where I really do like working out every day. Where it's a thing that I like doing. It's not something that I'm forcing myself to do. And I think of it like training. I'm training myself to be stronger. And I eat nutrition to be healthier and to be more optimal, more myself. Because, you know, I feel like myself when I'm a lot more when I'm doing that. And that's what's cool too. It's like going back to 6 years ago when I first started dating this girl. She had broken up with me by now, end of the year, and I had just kind of given up on working out. It was like, if she doesn't want to be with me, why would I want to work out for anybody or do anything? And then I got chubby again. Yay. And this time I'm not working out for a girl. I'm just working out because I want to look good and because I want to feel good. And I've seen the mental... I just have anger issues, and I've seen it help me with that. And I still get angry sometimes. It's not like it's cured, but I haven't had, like, since I've started working out, like, I would have fucking, like, fits. I know that's, like, a silly word, but I would have, like, things where I'd be like, bruh, what the fuck? And I still feel angry, but that doesn't really happen. You know, like, it happened, like, last year where I was, like, hitting... hitting something with a pillow, like over and over again, like a fucking nut job. And around that time, I was just like, what the fuck? And I saw myself in the mirror, and I was like, dude, you gotta fucking, as your Mom's House podcast would say, get your life. And so I'm working on that. So, but I talk about girls a lot on this podcast, and that's something I'm thinking about. So it's really something I need to figure out. In the same way I figured out how to work out and eat right, I need to figure out how to be healthy with women, because and have a healthy relationship with women, because it's part of life. It's a huge part of life. It's half the population. One, I'm not really even talking about friendship-wise stuff, but just like it's part of life to get married and to want to have kids and to do that stuff, and maybe polygamy is the way for some people, or whatever, or, you know, whatever, polyamory, I mean, or polygamy, whatever. Maybe these are things that people want to do, but, like, for me, I want to date a woman, and I want her to be smarter than me, which she's going to have to just deal with that, because I'm going to do what I do, which is kind of like, hopefully be a good, you know, do what I do, which is just to be, I mean, I'm going to write better songs than her, probably. So we'll all have attributes, but I want her to be, you know, smarter than me. I want her to, like, most likely be college educated. That's sort of, I mean, if she's really smart and still reads, I mean, if she's college educated and doesn't read books now, versus a girl that just got her high school degree, and this episode is going so off course. You know, got her high school degree, who reads and is like super interested in learning. I'd way rather date that girl. So I want to date someone that's really interested in working out for healthy reasons, working out for eating right, because I just can't date people that eat junk food because I'm a food addict. So it's like an alcoholic being around someone who drinks all the time. Like, you might be able to do it. I don't think I can do it. I dated a girl that didn't gain any weight eating McDonald's. I did. I got fat again. Not like super fat, like 300 pounds, like as bad as I got, but I I got to I think I probably clocked 200 again. Shit. So I'm 25 pounds down from that, which was a couple years ago. Jesus Christ. Criminy Christ. So I can't date a girl that fucking... Christ on a crosswalk. I can't date a girl that fucking eats bad, because she can eat bad sometimes or eat bad when I'm not around, but like we have to have clean... I'll eat all the food in the house if it's around. I ate a whole bag of cherries. Yesterday was my cheat day too, but still my dad bought me a bag of cherries, which I was like, I came home and I was drunk and I was stoned, and I was like walking in the kitchen, there was a bag of cherries, and I was like, what the fuck is... And then I'm like, wait, you're stoned. Get with it. And I was like, this is awesome. This is the best. It was so cool. And I ate the whole bag of cherries. I don't even want to know how much sugar that was. But it was awesome. Like I was like, I had to, dude. Last week I worked out harder than I've ever worked out before. Yesterday was my cheat day, and I fucking ate so much. It was awesome, and I could still see my abs this morning. So I mean, I don't have abs, but I can see my abs, if you know what I mean. But I'm gonna have abs in like the end of the year. I'm gonna have abs. That's my fucking goal. Like I can see them. I've seen like the progress. It's like it's totally working. So as long as I work really hard, I'll at least be to where I can like see them better and get to a point. I'm gonna fucking have abs. Fuck that shit. I'm not gonna fucking sell myself short. 6 fucking months to get abs. Come on. And to just stay fit. This is cool because last year I started doing this around November. So, but then there's those weeks, when Christmas around where I really wasn't doing it, and then a couple weeks in between too where I wasn't doing it. So, I really think of it as like 7 months. Because one of those months doesn't count because it's just like binge eating, and being shitty, and not working out. But ever since I started running a couple months ago, I've been working out a lot, and now I've added lifting weights, and it's really fun. So that's taken care of. And I need to figure out my shit with women, because I'm not working out for women, I'm working out for me. Like, I like the way I look. I want to come out of the shower more than I've ever liked that. So I want to just keep progressing that. It's not for anyone but me. And that's fun, because that's whatever your why is, and that's like what they say about, it's like something I heard recently on the Tim Ferriss podcast, which another thing I heard recently on the Tim Ferriss podcast is balance with priorities, which is so amazing. I love that idea. Balance with priorities. And now I'm sidetracked. Now I got sidetracked. I knew that was going to happen. Hold on a second, I'll figure this out. I'm so stoned. Well, your why. You have to fucking figure out your why. And if your why is because a chick you really like, you're working out so she likes you, and then she doesn't, you find out she's gone and she breaks up with you, then your why is gone. Unless you're going to keep working out so that maybe eventually you'll get her back. That's another motivation, but that's still like you at your center, and then your why is over here. I don't know. For me, at least, I realize that, and it's like, fuck that, dude. I don't want to do it even for her. I don't want to just work out for her. I want to work out for me. I want to like be strong. I want to be able to do things and be strong. I want to be able to do things with my body. It was so embarrassing once when I was like, all my friends were like this little hut thingy that, I don't know, it was like a water tower or something. All my friends could jump up and I couldn't, and this was when I was like 22 or something. Maybe I was 21, but I think I was 22. I think I had started smoking weed by then. I think I had started smoking pot by then. So, I'm like 22 and I couldn't get up, and it was really fucking embarrassing. Yeah, but when I came back, when I moved back, like when I moved back, but when I came back a few years ago, the first thing I did was jump up on that thing. And I did, of course. And I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm on top of this fucking water tower thing now. And none of my friends were here. No, one of my friends was, but it was... my why is different than it was then. It doesn't really have to do with chicks. I mean, it has to do with, like, as far as, like, being in the John Whites or doing movie stuff, like, I want to look as good for the women as I do for the gay guys, as I do for straight guys, as I do for whoever. Like, I want to look good because I'm on fucking TV and I'm on fucking movies and stuff. And it's about, like, what kind of roles do you want to get? What kind of way do you want to be perceived? And I don't want to be the fat guy. I'm not the fat friend anymore. And I didn't like being the fat friend. I was someone who was never, like, I never, like, embraced being fat. Waste of day, did you eat great or did you eat like shit? Waste of day, waste of day. And no, I didn't ever feel comfortable being fat because I never felt like a fat person. I felt like a fit, skinny person in a fat person's body, and I was a fit person who didn't work out and ate shitty. And now I'm I'm a fat person who didn't train and didn't eat nutritious meals. I'm trying to reframe my thinking and the wording because words matter. Words matter a lot, and working out doesn't sound fun, but training is really fun. And it's like I go make some music. I'm not gonna go work on some music. I'm gonna go make music because I love. It's like you go make music. You go practice. You know, it's better. Working is different. Anywho, yesterday was my cheat day. Let me break it down for you. Woke up, had a smoothie. That was pretty good, healthy. Some fucking greens, some carrots, avocado. Actually, I don't think I had an avocado. I had guacamole later though. Had some stuff in the smoothie. Boom, tasted great. Protein powder, banana, delicious. Went to work, just brought carrots and guacamole. Ate those at work. Also ate some chips that were in the back. It's Father's Day, so I'm like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go party. We're going out to dinner. I'm going to eat whatever the fuck I want. We go out to dinner. I have a salad, like a starter salad, which was delicious, which had like these bread things, and my dad doesn't eat bread, so I ate both breads. Then, bacon cheeseburger with a turkey burger instead, but peanut butter jelly, bacon, turkey, cheeseburger. It was so fucking good. It was like every taste, it was so fucking good. It was really one of the best things I've ever had. And I don't really drink, but I drank last night. So I think I'm going to do on my cheat day is drink at night and eat a lot of food, like combine them both, because it's like one of the reasons why I don't drink is because it makes me, I just eat a lot when I'm drunk. So, and I don't care. I'm like, I just come up with a lot of excuses, like, I don't care. Let's fucking eat. So if I just combine them all, combine drinking and doing my cheat day food-wise, that'd be awesome. Because then it's like the best of both worlds in a way. So that'd be fun. And then but it's cool too. I was like writing songs when I got home. I mean, getting drunk is its own consciousness changer, for sure, of course. And so, you know, it's something I don't want to just limit myself to, but it's something I don't want to do a lot. So anyway, drinking wine. Get the cheese, fucking peanut butter jelly turkey cheeseburger. It was so fucking good. Sweet potato fries, had some like Cajun, you know, whatever. It was some mayonnaise, ketchup, and some fucking spices, basically. But it was delicious still, because it was awesome. It's sugary, of course, and good. And then ketchup on the side. Eat that, eat that, eat that. Boom. Tiramisu. Boom. Come home. Bag of cherries. Boom. Done. Go out to deliver. I didn't sell him any weed, but I went and gave my friend some weed because he had some pain. So I went and gave my friend weed. I just gave him weed. I gave him a gift of weed. Actually, I didn't do that. I'm just joking. I'm being metaphoric. And then I get a fucking ice cream. It's like this 2 cookie. It's like a San Francisco. I might have the wrapper. What is it? Oh my god! I'm not gonna look at the I'm not gonna look at the ingredient content of it. It's called It's It San Francisco Tradition. I'm sure you guys all know about it, but I've never seen it. 2 oatmeal cookies dipped in chocolate ice cream. 2 coated cookies dipped in chocolate coating. And then I just ate that on the walk home from the place because I went to go out and get that thing called It's It, and it was fucking delicious. And then I came home and I ate a banana, and then I killed a spider. I ate a lot of fucking food yesterday, and it was awesome. It was awesome to look in the mirror and be like, okay, you can't do that 2 or 3 days in a row, but you can do that 1 day a week, probably. And after this podcast, I'm going to go work out. This is really kind of boring now, me talking about all this shit, but that was my waist update. That was my cheat day. It was awesome to eat all that food. Okay, Joseph Campbell. A call to action. Let's think about the hero's journey with my weight. I'm 20 years old, getting fat. 21, getting fatter. Seeing signs and hearing the intuition to lose weight and start working out like a motherfucker. The call to action is asking me to lose weight. I'm repeatedly receiving the call to action to start working out or to start training and start eating nutritious. And I'm refusing the call to action, so my journey or my story of losing weight will not begin because I won't let it. So I'm in, I'm not letting it begin. Finally, my girlfriend and I break up. I start smoking weed. I start going to the gym a couple times. I never really pick up on that, but I just stopped drinking soda, basically, and I lost a shit ton of weight because I was smoking weed, and smoking weed changed my consciousness and my perspective, where it allowed me to see things from a different angle. Also, eating mushrooms, and eating mushrooms a couple months after I had started smoking weed, I could already just see, just from stopping drinking soda, I lost so much weight. And so when I was on mushrooms, I was like tripping, just feeling my body and being like, my body feels so different than it did. And that was really cool. And I began that cycle, and I would lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight really over the next course of, and then I got the best shape of my life in 2011, and then now I'm actually in the best shape of my life, but by then, in 2011, I was in the best shape of my life at that point, and then now I'm in better shape than then, which is cool, and I always wanted to do that, and that was like this thing where I was always like, oh, I just want to get in 2011 shape. It was hard, but it's a thing. It's like a mental thing where, if you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. Because what I did back then was ate a lot, and ate a lot of healthy food, and worked out every day. So are you going to do that? Because you did that in 2011. You did that for 6 months. That's why you look the way you did. Are you going to do that again? And then I didn't until now. And now I've gone even further than that. And eaten better, gotten way more nutritious, and then trained more and trained in a different way too, where I go running and do that kind of stuff, which is really fun. And I ran the other day for like 3.5 miles, and I was like at a 7.5 minute mile pace, which for me is just really good. And it made me feel excited that I am just, as a person, just getting better at that. And I want to just keep getting better at that. And I want to keep getting better at podcasting too, so let's try to see. We're an hour and a half in. Man, these are getting long. And now I got to talk about Kanye. All right, so it's actually the perfect time because I'm talking about losing weight. I'm talking about the first time when I smoked weed. So I turned 23. I turned 22, I mean. My girlfriend and I break up a couple weeks before I turned 22. I turned 22. I'm really depressed because the girl that I really wanted to date is gone on her mission and she hasn't written me a letter. And as dumb as that sounds, I'm bummed about it. Because other people have gotten letters. Her best friend had gotten a letter, I should say. And I haven't gotten a letter. And I just felt bummed about it and I felt dumb. And I was like, oh, I'm so sad. And I'm hanging out with my friends and they all wanted to smoke weed. One of them didn't. But he did, but like he's like, I don't know if my wife will let me. He's like, I gotta call her. He called her. She said she would. They're like, come on, man, John, you just gotta smoke weed, dude. It'll be awesome. Let's do it. Like total peer pressure. So it was me with the friend that I got mad at because we doorbell ditched and he ratted me out. It's me, him, Josh Brown from the band. So he's in my band because I'm in the John Whites at that point with Josh. So Josh, doorbell ditch friend, and then one other guy who is another close friend of mine from high school. He's a really close friend. And we're all together and they all want to smoke weed and I'm just really depressed. And there's like kind of this peer pressure thing and then I finally just do it. And the year prior, or a few months prior to that, maybe 4 or 5 months prior, In Rainbows by Radiohead came out. And I remember I really hated that album. And I was like, really overweight. I was like 300 pounds. The album came out and I'm like this super hypertense dude. I'm in this relationship I don't want to be in. And I just remember like hating the album so much. And then I'm hanging out with my friends. This is months later after my girlfriend and I had broken up. Smoking weed for the first time. My friend puts on In Rainbows on the record, puts the record on, the actual record, and he puts the record on. We listen to the album, and it's one of the best things I've ever heard. I mean, I'm fucking stoned, but I also like wrote a song. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. I haven't put it on an album or anything yet, but I got stoned, wrote that song, we listened to the album, it was just amazing, it was incredible, it was an incredible time, and that started me smoking weed, and so I'm living at this house with a bunch of people that don't smoke weed, but I'm smoking weed, and I buy weed, and I have a bong out in the back, and I understand now why that was probably not cool, because it's this illegal paraphernalia. I mean, this is all not true, this is a story I made up, but you know, there's paraphernalia in the back, and I'm just going out and smoking weed every once in a while, and so the people I'm living with, we become contentious, to say the least. But I'm hanging out with my doorbell ditch friend, and I'm smoking weed. This is the first time I ever smoked weed, and he, like the first time in my life, really. Well, it is the first time in my life, but this is just the era of the first summer of my weed smoking. Because it was a few months after that I moved into another place, because it was not going to happen living with a bunch of Mormon guys being a stoner. It's just not going to work out really, unless they're really cool with drugs, you know, but I need my fucking pipe cleaner. I don't know where it is. I'm taking all these really harsh hits because, hold on, I'm going to go find it. Okay, I found it. But my friend... Where's my guitar? My friend gets me... He says, dude, you gotta fucking listen to Kanye West. He's like, why the fuck do you not listen to Kanye West, dude? You gotta fucking listen to Kanye West. This is maybe a couple weeks, maybe a week, I don't know. A little bit into me smoking weed. And I smoke weed, and then I maybe don't smoke weed for a day. But I eventually just start smoking weed every single day. Like, just very frequently. And I'm writing songs because if you write songs already and you start smoking weed, you're going to just start writing a lot of fucking more awesome songs. Like, if you have a work ethic set up, which I did, I'd made basically 4 albums by the time I had started smoking weed. It's on, dude. And that's what's up. Like, for me. So... I started listening to Kanye West, and so, I mean, if I had more money, I would dress differently. I would have a lot more shirts like this, and I would have a lot more Levi pants, but I would have a lot of really nice shoes and really nice jackets. You know, if you want to send me any kind of sunrise, palm tree type shirts, say, give me an email and I'll give you my where to send them. I'll give you where to send them, alright? I'd love to get your old 80s and 70s and shirts. So I'd still wear these shirts because I love that movie Collateral. And in Collateral, Jamie Foxx on his, like, whatever flipper visor thing on his car that you flip down to get the sun. I don't know what it's called. I can't think of it, but he's got like a picture of a like an island with palm trees, and he just, when he's having a bad day, he thinks about it, or he looks at it because he's a cab driver, and I always thought that was cool, and so I started to do that with my shirts because I was just like, oh, if I have like colorful shirts with like paradise on them, then maybe I'll just be in a better mood, and that worked. I mean, that was part of smoking weed and stuff. But the whole thing about clothes is, I didn't give a fuck about clothes before Kanye West. So my friend gets me into Kanye West, and this is a time when only the college dropout, late registration, and graduation have come out. Graduation had just come out like the year before. Came out in 2007, this is 2008. This is like early 2008. So it just came out the year before. Little pipes suck. So harsh. But it's really cool because the battery's gonna die. But it's really cool because I love Kanye West. But this is albums. But they're amazing. I mean, if you've fucking heard them, they're incredible. They're really great albums, though. My mind's just blown. I'm starting to smoke weed for the first time. And Kanye West is like getting me back into rap music. And getting me back into black music, really. And I'm just like, this is the fucking shit. Because I started listening to a lot more like rap music, but also like listening to like Luther Vandross and stuff like that. Whatever the fuck, I just started smoking weed and just listening to whatever. I got into tons of shit. I got into the band Love. I got into so much stuff. Joseph Campbell even more so. Joseph Campbell must have come, yeah, just the year before that, maybe, probably. Yeah, probably. Or I don't know. I don't know. What? Probably. But I got way more into Joseph Campbell too. I got way more into to Buddhism and Eastern stuff and Eastern thought, and then the Tao Te Ching and did things like that, because it was just like, I don't know, for me it was like a rebirth. And Kanye West was part of that, because I'm listening to his music and I'm back on my grind. I was like, I love my lifeline, told me in my lifetime. One day I helped light up the Chicago sideline, and that's why I'm 7 o'clock, that's prime time. Why you got God calling from the hotline? Why you keep giving me hotlines? I'm a star, how could I not shine? I got some of the words wrong on that. But these sort of, for me, maybe people think they're arrogant, but I just take them and I think of them as like myself, my own aspirations, you know? And it makes me think about, for myself, like, yeah, dude, you gotta fucking do this shit. And Kanye West also helped cement that aspect of like making music and being an artist. And I mean, I've never really seen him as a negative guy or as a negative. I mean, I think he's like depressed the last few years, but I mean, like, I don't think what he's saying is not true in a lot of ways. But especially back then, it's like people were kind of saying, I always just took what he was saying as encouragement to the people, not as like that he does think very highly of himself, but it's like, I don't feel like he was also telling people to also think highly of themselves too, you know? And I think that's where people don't understand it. It's like he's asking a lot out of himself, and he's asking people to ask a lot out of themselves too. At least that's how I took it. And so that was awesome to like sort of and like not drinking soda, you'll lose a lot of weight. And so I was like losing a lot of weight, and there's goofy pictures. I'm probably not going to put it up, but there's really goofy pictures of like me going to try to figure out what my style was. Like, I didn't figure it out right away. And so there's some like really funny pictures. But anyway, and like I was going through this phase where I was like wearing a cowboy hat when I was a stoner and stuff like that. But that was cool, man. Just smoking weed, taking mushrooms, listening to Kanye West, and he got me into clothes and into jeans and wearing nice shoes and looking good, and just taking and treating the clothes you wear like work of art and treating yourself like work of art. And now I kind of think about it even more so, because I think about it with like lifting weights and with working out and with training, and doing, you know, like plyometric things to make yourself stronger, and running to give yourself endurance. But I also think of like your body. Your body's a work of art through those means, but also like your clothes that you wear on your body are. And I didn't really think about that. I just always like, give me this shirt. I wore a lot of collared striped shirts, just like polo type. Maybe not polo, but like, you know, Eddie Bauer type. I don't know, just very plain shirts and a lot of khakis. And I look at the pictures now, and you can like see them on if you go to the Instagram of the John Whites, like all the early images are like how I dressed, and some of it's not so bad. Like I have a Revenge of the Sith shirt, which was pretty cool. I'd probably still wear that, but most of it, it's like, oh, I just didn't care. And like I was more against clothes, and then Kanye West, you know, I was very against like hipsters and like just their clothes and stuff. And then I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to care about clothes because they do. And then with Kanye West, it's just he really cares about clothes, and he looks great, and I got into clothes. So he didn't just influence me, like musically, he also kind of brought that artistic aspect of fashion into my life, which is, you know, still something I'm working on a lot. It's still something I would love to, something I'm going to when I get more money to work on and be more a part of. Not doing fashion myself, like clothing, but I mean, I am making t-shirts and stuff. I do want to make t-shirts people like, so, but nothing, you know, I want to fucking buy nice ass fucking jackets, dude. I don't know, I mean, you can look pretty good on pretty cheap clothes, but like pretty soon I'm going in and I'm getting all my shirts tailored to my size, which will be exciting. Which again, going back to Kanye West, I probably would not be doing if I never got into clothes and stuff. Now it's like, because you don't wear a shirt that makes you look like you're wearing a dress. Just get that shit taken care of.
And I always find, yeah, I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my shit just way too long. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. And so I think it's time for us to have a toast. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Let's have a toast for the assholes. Let's have a toast for the scumbags. Every one of them that I know. Let's have a toast for the jerk-offs that'll never take work off. And baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can. She found pictures in my email. I sent this bitch a picture of my dick. I don't know what it is with females, but I ain't too good at that shit. See, I can have me a good girl and still be addicted to them hood rats. And I just blame everything on you and let you know that's what I'm good at. And I always find, yeah, I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my shit just way too long. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. So I think it's time for us to have a toast. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Let's have a toast for the assholes. Let's have a toast for the scumbags. Every one of them that I know. Let's have a toast for the jerk-offs that'll never take work off. And baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can. Never was much of a romantic. Never could take the intimacy. Oh, I know I did damage, 'cause the look in your eyes is killing me. But you had the advantage, 'cause you could blame me for everything. And I don't know how I'll manage if one day you just up and leave. Yeah, I always find, yeah, I always find something wrong. You've been putting up with my shit just way too long. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. So I think it's time for us to have a toast. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Let's have a toast for the assholes. Let's have a toast for the scumbags. Every one of them that I know. Let's have a toast for the jerk-offs that'll never take work off. Baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can. Run away from me, baby. Run away from me, baby. Oh, run away. Then it's time to get crazy. I think she does. Run away, baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can. Run away from me, baby. Run away from me, baby. Run away to the dump to get crazy. I think she just run away. Baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can.
A little out of tune. It's always the G, huh? I love Kanye West, so fucking The College Dropout, incredible, and also fucking helped influence me to drop out of college that same year in 2008, dude. The College Dropout like helped influence me so much. Fuck yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. But it did, like, I was just like, yeah, dude, I'm not, because I was in college. I mean, during all my first 3 albums. And The College Dropout and smoking weed got me out of college, dude. Got me on the right track. Because you can't There's no backup plan, dude. I mean, whatever. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to college. I'm saying that for me, on my journey, I can't have a fucking backup plan. Like, I'm an artist. I have to fucking make art. I have to do this. For me, man, it's like my purpose. It's my why. Like, why I'm here on this earth is to do that. I really believe that. I really do believe that. Like, I mean, I feel that's my purpose. So anyways, the college dropout helped me out a ton. And in breaking it, and dropping out of college. So the year before I took a semester, I mean, I actually taken a semester off when I was 20. I dropped out of a semester when I was 21. And then I guess I just dropped out fully and never went. I was going back a little bit when I was 22 in 2008, and then I dropped out completely. And just was like, alright, obviously I'm not doing this. Because you gotta make music, dude. It's hard, man. It takes up a lot of time. So for me, I couldn't do it. So I dropped out, and the college dropout really helped with that. And my music got way better because of that. Because I committed to it more. I got more out of it. Absolutely. I love that song, Never Let Me Down. Get 'em high, just smoking weed, listening to that, super fun. Slow jams, I love that song. You can hear my voice is just going out, so I've been talking for 2 hours and then I just sang that. I need to take a rest. I need to go take a rest, but before I go and do that, before I start making a racist, Hispanic, or Latino voices, before I get in trouble for doing this, let me see. I love says you. Little Anita definitely set this party off right. She said she wasn't ready for the world. Say new additions, so many repetendo. Let them set this party off right. Oh yes you will. Oh yes you will. I told her to drive over in your new whip and bring some friends you cool with. I'm gonna grab the cool whip, then I want you to strip. See who is my new chick, so we get our grind on. She be grabbing, calling me Biggie like Shine on. Man, I swear she fine on, but why she always lying on? Telling me them diamonds when she know they rhinestones. I got a light-skinned friend, looks like Michael Jackson. Got a dark-skinned friend, looks like Michael Jackson. I pray ready for the world and she was ready for some action. My dog said you ain't a freak, so I'm about to boot my man wrong. I'ma play this Vandross, you gon' take your pants off. I'ma play this fattest night, me and you gon' get it right. Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross, and Little Anita definitely set this party off right. Are you gonna be? She said she wasn't ready for the world, and you were dissing so many repetinos. Definitely set this party off right. Oh yes it will. Oh yes it will. Al Green, oh, Al Green, oh, ooh. Smokey Robinson, Assistant Simpson, definitely set this party, really set this party up right. Are you gonna be? Say, are you gonna be? Are you gonna be? It are you gonna be?
She says she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross, a little Anita. Will definitely set this party up right. Oh, she said she wasn't ready for the world and new edition, so many repetitions. But if they set this party up right, oh yes it will, oh yes it will. Once again, this podcast is getting really long. Late Registration, my least favorite Kanye West album, which is not saying much. I still fucking love this album, but it's my least favorite. I don't even know why it's an important point, but it just goes to show that this could be such a great album, and it could still be my least favorite, which is very interesting. But Gone, so many amazing songs. Give me a break. Touch the Sky, fuck, dude. Then Graduation comes out, and I really love Graduation. I love that album so much too. Good Life, I Wonder. Going back, I was singing I Wonder earlier. It's one of my favorite songs ever. And I just fucking love this album. Great trilogy. Bears, all three. Bear, Bear, Bear on the trilogy album. Now, moving into the Red trilogy, which is all his albums that have Red on it. So 808's Heartbreaks, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then Yeezus. So My 808's and Heartbreaks, I love that album too. I love Kanye West. That's one of the fucking parts of the title of this episode. Your love locked down, your love locked down, now keep your love locked down, your love locked down, now keep your love locked. You know? I'm not loving you the way I wanted to. And I'm minding about me to run from you. Great album, just cool. I mean, that album, all his albums, and if you listen to the history of music, and you listen to the history of pop music especially, like his albums follow all of his albums follow the history of pop music, dude. You just listen to like all that high-pitched sampling soul stuff that was happening around the early 2000s. That was Kanye West influence. Then you listen to 808's Heartbreaks, Graduation. That was where hip-hop started. People became singers. People weren't just rappers anymore. People were like rappers, singers. Kanye West wasn't the only person to do that, but he really brought that shit to an artistic level where that's what people did. For sure. And you can just listen to the history of pop music, and it still happened. Like with Yeezus, with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, things got very epic, and then Yeezus, things got very minimal, and people just kind of he just influences the world. He really does. I mean, just listen to the music, and you can listen to his albums, and he's the one that did it first, or at least brought it to the stage that was where that was what was happening. He's always changing, and it's just really, really incredible. And I love this album, so I'm gonna play a song for it. just not feeling the streetlights growing. Happen to be just like moments passing in front of me. So I hopped in the cab and I paid my fare. See, I know my destination, I'm just not there. Let me know. Do I still got time to grow? All things ain't always set in stone. Let me know, let me know. Let me in. It seems like streetlights glowing happen to be just like moments passing in front of me. So I hopped in the cab and I paid my fare. See, I know my destination, but I'm just not there. All those streetlights glowing happen to be just like moments passing in front of me. So I hopped in the cab and I paid my fare. See, I know my destination, but I'm just not there. On the streets, in the streets, I'm just not there. In the streets, I'm just not there.
You know, the episode's getting long, but I'm not done talking about Kanye. You know, the battery ran out, but I'm still have some Kanye to talk about. I mean, these songs are amazing, dude. When people talk shit, I've never understood it. I mean, I've understood, like, people being like, oh, that's awfully, you know, when made Taylor Swift more famous, but, I don't know, I don't fucking, dude, whatever, he's Kanye West, he's awesome. It's the coolest. There we go. There we go. I love Kanye West so much. I mean, this dude is just... So now we're on 808's Heartbreaks. We're on his Red Trilogy. 808's comes out. A lot of people didn't like it. I love it. Then...
You might think you've picked the scene.
The Real One's Far Too Mean. What is this?
You haven't. The real one's far too...
The whatever, I don't know the fucking things. Whatever. That turns on. I fantasized about this back in Chicago. And then it's just, that's one of the, dude, that's one of the best albums ever made. Like, I think that's like top 10 for me, man. This album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This and Yeezus are like two of my favorite albums ever. And I just love his albums so much. And The College Dropout, and I love Graduation, and I love Late Registration, and I love 808s. I love them all. But this was on another motherfucker. I don't know if I say it's on another fucking level. I love this album. This is like, this is just like the Sgt. Pepper's of his, you know. I don't think Revolver is any less artistic or any less experimental than Sgt. Pepper's, but for some reason, Sgt. Pepper's really just hit. Connected. I mean, all the Beatles albums connect with people, but I mean, this album is just, I mean, hit after hit after hit. And this really changed the landscape too, and I think raised the bar for hip-hop music on what you could do with an album, that like make shorter albums that don't have as many skits, that don't have these things, and still be like hip-hop, and as this, like, this fucking has RZA on it, fucking Monster is insane. Fucking all of the lights. Blame Game. Of course I'm gonna try playing the Blame Game. Of course, this is like the most, like, every white kid did this. Every white kid with
Let's play the blame. Let's play the blame game. I love you more. Let's play the blame game. Sure. Let's call our names. Names. I hate you more. Let's call our names. Names for sure. I'll call you bitch for sure. There's the last resort and my first resort. You call me motherfucker for long. No. At the end of it, you know we both are wrong. I still have to play the blame game. I love you more. Let's play the blame game. Sure. Let's call our name. Name. I hate you more. Let's call our name. Name. Sure. On the bathroom wall I wrote. See, yeah, this is so cheesy when white guys do that shit. And it's hard sometimes to rap and play guitar at the same time and not do that, apparently. On the bathroom wall I wrote, I'd rather argue with you than to be with someone else. And I took a piss and dismissed it, and I'm fucking like it. I'm not even gonna do that. That's the worst thing. That's the worst kind of music. And I went into the rock and in the rock up in the rock up in the root up in the rock up in the chili poppers. In the hippin' and the hoppin', the hippin' and the hoppin'. Oh, that time you spend just a hippin' and a hoppin'. So that didn't work, but Devil in a New Dress. Whee, that song is amazing. Runaway, I played that earlier. Incredible. Blame Game, incredible. Not coming from an acoustic guitar. Lost in the World, one of my favorite songs in the world. I'm not going to try to play that. I'm lost in the woods. I'm down on my mind. I'm building a still to slow down time. My voice is getting on sight. I love that song. Now we're in Jesus. Alright, the last album of his Red trilogy. So good. 10 songs of I'm gonna sing Bound. I just read the lyrics. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna sing Bound. Jerome's in the house. That's not appropriate for a white guy to be singing like I just did. I can't hold my liquor. This man can't handle his me. Dark and lonely round on Chicago South Town. I'm on the Indians. I heard it on the radio now. I can't hold my liquor. These bitches can't handle me.
I can't control people. And all people, they can't control me. You say you know me, my people. Do you really just know the old me? They don't give you the lyrics. I mean, come on, I don't know them that well. Bitch, I'm back out my coma, waking up on your sofa. When I park my Range Rover, I slightly smash your Corolla. Alright, I smash your Corolla. 5 years we been over. One more bitch that I could own you. One more fuck that I could own you. One cold night in October, pussy had me floating. Felt like Deepak Chopra. Felt like Deepak Chopra. Shit, I don't know the words. That song's really good though. These are red Octobers. You still ain't learned me no matters. They love me when I ain't sober. They love me when I'm low doja. Then her auntie came over. Skinny bitch with no shoulders. Telling you that I'm bogus. I said, bitch, you don't even know us. Baby girl, he's a loner. Baby girl, he's a loner. Late night Oreo donut. After that, he disown ya. After that, it's just hopeless. Soulmates become soulless. And when it's over, it's over. And bitch, I'm back out my coma. Jesus is such a great album. Super underrated. So good. Every song is fucking good on that album. Alright. Let's do one more song. Let's do a song from The Life of Pablo. And this is a whole new trilogy. Album 7. And it's a beige. The Life of Pablo. Which one? Choose family or booties? So thanks for listening to this episode. I really love Kanye. His 4th album, 808s and Heartbreaks. I made that album. I made my 4th album the same time, in the same year he did, and his album came out first. And then after his album came out, I went in and I afterwards put all those 808 beats on it. Before it was just an album. It didn't have any of those beats on it. It was a done album. And then I went in and I made all those beats. And that was a really... First of all, you're supposed to put the beats on first, but thank God it fucking works. But you're supposed to put the beats on first, really, because then you play everything to that beat. But it's just really cool that, I don't know, that changed that, and then that turned into Monkey Man, and, you know, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out the same year as Monkey Man, and that, I think, really just influenced me a lot in, like, Unweaving the Apocalypse too, where it's like a little bit more of a orchestral and epic. Booyah, 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 booyah. Okay, so I love Kanye West. People talk shit on him all the time, but he's really helped me out, and his music has made me feel really good when I haven't felt so good. And his music's also made me take my fashion more seriously, take my career more seriously, take my artistry more seriously, and hopefully I can learn to enunciate more seriously too. But I love Kanye West, and here's his song called Waves. I'm gonna try Waves.
one you bitch like, and I be talking shit like I said. Step up in this bitch like I'm the one you bitch like. I'm the one you bitch like. Yeah, I'm the one you bitch like. And I be talking shit like I ain't scared to lose a fist fight. She be grabbing on my dick like she wanna see if it fit right. That's just the way it is. Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. Ah, baby, I don't know lie. Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. Baby, I don't need to. No lie. No lie. No lie. Oh, waves don't die. Baby, I need one. Sun don't shine in the shade. A bird can't fly in the cage. Even when somebody go away, no, the feelings don't really go away. 'Cause that's just the way it is. Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. I don't need to want no lie. Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. I don't need to own no lie. No lie. No lie. You set the night on fire. I'm still gonna be here in the morning, no lie. No lie.
I'm gonna just fucking, you know what? This podcast has gone long already. I'm just gonna sing this song again. I didn't know how to sing it, and now I kind of do. With the Life of Pablo. When I first heard this album, I liked it a lot. And now I love it a lot. I think it's really great.
Step up in this bitch like step up and I'm the one you bitch.
Wow.
Step up in this bitch like I'm the one you bitch like. Yeah, I'm the one you bitch like. And I be talking shit like I ain't scared to lose a fist fight. She be grabbing on my dick like she wanna know if it'll fit right. That's just the way it is. The waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. I don't need to hold you, no lie. Waves don't die. Let me crash you for a moment. I don't need to own you, no lies. The sun don't shine in the shade, and birds don't fly in a cage. Somebody go away. The feelings don't really go away. That's just the way